Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. So in this video, we're going to discuss Geeks for Geeks problem of the day, and today's problem is seating arrangement, and it is an easy level problem. So this particular problem says that we have been given an array of size m which represents the seats that we have, and 0 represents that the seat is currently empty, 1 represents that the seat is currently filled. Now we have to place n people among the seats such that like no two people sit together, right? So we have to make sure that the left and right spaces of those n people is empty. Now there is a very interesting thing about this question. What is happening is these n people that we place, we have to make sure that they are not like adjacent to any other people, and if the people who are already placed on the seats are even adjacent, we don't have to worry about. Now why am I saying this? I did this one thing. So if you see, I just made this custom input where the number of people that I have to place are 0 and the people that are already placed are 1, and like they have like 1 1 1 1, that all the seats are filled. Now you see in this particular configuration, these are the people who have already been placed, right, which have been given to us in the input, and they are adjacent to each other. Now if I like compile this particular thing, you will see something very interesting. You will see that the answer for this particular case is yes, and my output is also giving yes, right? So the people who are already placed there, right, we don't have to worry about their positions, we just have to worry about the positions about of the people that we are placing now, right? So this is something I want to share, and I feel like this might get changed later, right? This might get changed later, but for now it's like this. So let us discuss how we can solve this problem, though this problem is very straightforward. And what we essentially have to do is, for example, if this is the seats array, there will be some positions filled in the array. So what we can do is we can start placing from the left, and we can try to greedily place all the values, right? So if the current element is not equal to 1, that means that there is no person sitting at this particular position, then I can place it. But I have to check one more thing, that there should be no person sitting next to it also. Why? Because I don't want these two people to be adjacent. So for example, if there was a person sitting here already, then I cannot place my person here, right? So what I have to do is I have to make sure of two positions, that the person sitting next to it is empty, that the position next to it is empty, the current position is empty, and also if there exists a previous position, that previous position should also be empty, right? Now let us discuss some three cases. Like this particular condition will be divided into three cases. What happens that when the previous position is non-empty, for example, there was a position like this and this was not empty like this, right? So we will have to move one space forward, right? If I'm currently at this, my next valid position could be this, right? I'm not saying that it is definitely this. Again, we'll have to check the same three conditions, but we are just assuming that our next valid position could be this one, right? So we have to move one space forward. What happens when I'm currently at the position which has the character 1 in it, or it has been taken by some other person? If I'm at such position, I'll have to move two spaces forward, right? You understand why? Because the next space will also not be valid, and the next space will be the most recent valid one, right? Now this is the second case. Now what happens in the case when I'm at this position and the element next to it is not a valid position, right? In this case, I'll have to make a jump of size 3. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. I'll have to move here, right? So what we are doing is we are greedily trying to place all the n people and checking all the three conditions and jumping to the next possible valid position according to one of the three conditions. So what are those three conditions? If s of I minus 1 is equals to 1, then the value of jump will be 1. We have to jump one space, right? If s of I is equals to 1, then we have to jump two spaces. If s of I plus 1 is equals to 1, then we have to jump three spaces, right? We will make the jump and again check for the next position whether that particular position is a valid position or not. If that is a valid position, then we will place our character there. Now once we place a character, so character when it is placed, obviously it is a similar condition to this one, right? So what we can just directly do is jump is equals to 2. Or even if we don't do this, when we repeat the same thing in the next iteration, it will automatically mark it as this particular condition. If we do s of I is equals to 1, right? So there are two ways. Either we can just like place the particular character there, that means we will remove one character from the n value that I have placed one character or placed one person, and at the same time I jump that particular position by 2, right? Otherwise what I can do is I can just mark that particular position as 1 in the original array, and when the next the same condition executes again, it will automatically jump by 2, right? So I can choose any of the ways, right? So this way I can greedily place all the values, and at the end whether I can find if I was subtracting this particular value, if I was subtracting this particular value itself, so I can check whether the value of n is equals to 0, or if I was maintaining a count variable, then I can check whether count is equals to n or not, right? So either of these ways is correct. So like that's all about this particular question. You just have to greedily place all the values, checking all the 3 conditions. So now let's have a look at the code. So what I'm doing is I'm initializing a variable seat, which will be my current seat index, right? So I'm maintaining a while loop till seat is greater than n and n exists. That means n is greater than 0. So I just check for the next position if seat plus 1 is greater than n. So since I'm like doing indexing here, I also have to make sure that this particular index which I'm trying to access is a valid one. So if seat plus 1 is less than n, and like that the next position is containing a 1, I'll increment seat by 3 and I'll continue, right? So it will go to the next iteration. Now if seat the current element is 1, then I'll increment seat the value of seat by 2 and I'll just continue to the next iteration. Now I just check if the value of seat is greater than 0. That means I can check at seat minus 1, right? So I just check if it is 1, I just increment my seat value and I continue. So these are all the 3 conditions that I'm checking, and if none of these gets executed, that means I found a valid position, and I'll just place my character here and I'll increment the value of seat by 2. Like the other way to do this would have been like without incrementing, I would have just written like this. So I'm just writing it for you. Let me just write it this way also. It can be seat of m is equals to 1, right? Seats of seat, right? These are the variables and I'm taking. Either this way is correct or the other way is also correct. You can do any of them, right? At the end, whenever this particular thing is completed, I just return if n is equals to 0 or not, right? If n is equals to 0, that means there are no people remaining that I have to place. So let me just try to submit this particular code. So this was all about like today's solution. It's just a greedy approach, and you just have to place all the characters one by one, right? So you see this particular thing has passed, and if I like just make this particular chain and I just do seat plus is equals to 2, this will I believe that this should also get accepted. So you see like both of them have got accepted. You can apply any of them. This is also working. The above one is also working, because when I like mark it as 1, in the next iteration this condition will get executed and it will like automatically increment the value of seat by 2. So it is the same thing. I just written it this way so that I don't have to get to the next iteration. It will just increase one iteration for me, right? So like this was all about today's problem of the day, seating arrangement. I hope that you guys were able to understand the solution. If you guys did, then consider dropping a like on this video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It's always free of cost, and you can always unsubscribe if you don't find the videos interesting later. So till the next video drops, keep coding, stay safe, bye bye.